Hello, welcome back to another video. It's been a bit. Got sick last week, so I was kind of down for the count for most of the week. Not really up for doing videos, but today we're gonna kind of get back into it. I do have it's a new comic book day, so I do have some art that I still need to unbox. I mean that's what happens when you go 1 week without recording videos. You amass a couple boxes. So I've got 2 art deliveries that I still need to unbox, and one more is coming tomorrow. So it's a sickness. But anyway, so today I have 2 weeks worth of comic books to talk about. I didn't really get to the shop last week, but I read some of these. I just bought them digitally because I was like, I want to read them. Namely, first off was Scarlet #3 that came out last week. This has been a really fun, and I know I say that a lot, like, oh, it's fun, but really, to me, that's one of the the biggest seals of approval you can give a comic is if you can say, oh, this is a fun book, because it's been fun. There's the element of this series is more, action, a little more like espionage than say Duke was. There's ninja action in this one. The story is that Scarlet is trying to rescue Jinx from the clan Arashikage, and she's on a mission that they have set her on. They think it's a suicide mission, but this issue, the issue 3, is the actual mission that she goes on, and yeah, it's really fun, really good. So now when I say that a story, when you say it's really fun, is a high praise, there are some other instances where it's not really a fun story, but it's still a very interesting and good story, and that is the Deviant #7. I talked about this one a little bit ago, months ago, when I unboxed a page from issue 1 of this series. Joshua Hickson art. This is written by James Tynion IV, and one of the criticisms that the Tynion gets a lot is that he puts himself in the main characters, and that's the case here. It's about a writer who's trying to solve solve a crime that has already been solved according to the authorities, and he interviews the killer, and we're at issue 7 of I think 9, and at this point in the story, his name's Michael, is the main character, the writer, and his involvement in the past. It's about a serial killer, and the killings kind of started up again. It was about a serial killer from the 70s. And then, in present day, the killings have started again. So Michael's interest in the past has kind of gotten him involved in, is he a suspect? I mean, he is a suspect in the current killing. So it's a really interesting story. I've had, when you say like you enjoy stories like that, but I did. I mean, I enjoy what this is. The mystery. I don't know where it's going. You're 7 issues in. There's clues, but I don't know. But I really have enjoyed reading this story, and it's set at Christmas. It's billed as a Christmas story. So they started last, I would say, right like around Halloween or November, somewhere in there. Then they took a break. I think they're trying to line it up so that they publish the last issue closer to Halloween/Christmas, sometime during the holidays. But yeah, that's been a really interesting read that I've enjoyed reading. And the last thing I picked up last week was Ain't No Grave issue 4. This is written by Scotty Young, art by Jorge Corona, and it's about a gunslinger named Ryder who is terminally ill, and she is hell-bent on dueling death. So it's her attempts to get to death to defeat him, to try to stay alive. And this issue, really interesting. What it is I didn't quite realize it until I was like halfway through, but it's a mostly silent issue, and I love when artists are given that task to do a mostly silent issue. So Jorge Corona storytelling shines in this one for sure. But yeah, really enjoyed that issue and this series. It's only a 5 issue series. Next month is the last issue. But yeah, this has been incredibly fun. I've enjoyed it. So, all right, now on to what I picked up this week. We'll start with this one. So we'll start with Heartpiercer #4. Rich Douek and as a writer, and Gavin Smith on art. This is a 4 issue series. This was the last issue of it, and yeah, it just scratches that itch for like a nice, good like fantasy story. I don't know that it is it's like groundbreaking or but I had a lot of fun with it. And again, that's if I can say that about something, it was worth my money. But yeah, so in this story, she was duped by her lord to she was tasked to kill these mythical creatures, and she thought she was doing a task for good. Turns out she was working for the villain of the story. So she issue 1, she kills the last unicorn, and which is that's been done before. But what happens is she then is betrayed by that guy, and I forget names. I'm terrible at I think her name is like Attila, and I think yeah, it's in my brain. I don't know if anybody else does this too. While I'm reading it, this is not like the best way to review a comic, but whenever I see his name in print, it reminds me of Kurgan. So it's like Kur something, but every time my brain calls him Kurgan from from Highlander. I don't know why. That's just the way it is. So but yeah, so it's her kind of confrontation with some of his other soldiers, and leaves it open to it doesn't wrap it up completely nicely, cleanly. There's definitely room for this story to continue, and I would I'd revisit that for sure. And let's see, the last not last. There's one more thing before we're going to talk about Transformers, because I love me some Transformers. But the other series I picked up this week, it's a new series for me. So it's called Falling in Love on the Path to Hell. This is actually this is issue 1. It's the 3rd printing already. They are only up to issue 3. Issue 3 came out today. I have not read issues 2 and 3 yet, full disclosure, but I read issue 1, so I figured that'd be a good just to share that without going into full details of the rest of the story, because I don't know them. But this was really really incredible. It mixes elements of genres that I love. There's the common theme of the books that I like to pick up is like, oh, is there a gunslinger in it? Yeah, let's buy that. But anyway, my local comic shop owner, he told me about this 2 weeks ago. A couple weeks ago, I was in the store, and he was like, yeah, you should check that out. But then I guess the latest printing, issue 3, or the 3rd printing of issue 1, came out last week. So got all these this week. It is set in like 1877, and it is about talks about, there's this gunslinger character, and then it has a scene. He has a kind of a violent death, and then it cuts to this like samurai warrior, and then she also talks about, you see her story, and she has a violent death. And then they end up kind of meeting each other in this limbo. They kind of die at the same time in 1877, and they end up in this limbo area, and that's kind of where the first issue ends. But yeah, so that's why it's Falling in Love on the Path to Hell. They both have been sent to hell. They were not, they were not innocent individuals in their life, but they had a violent history, so they are on the path to hell. So The art in this is really beautiful. It's Gary Brown. The writer is it Gary Dugan, Jerry Dugan, Gary Gergich, Jerry Gergich. um, it is Jerry Dugan, and the art is by Gary Brown. And yeah, really happy with this one. Like I said, the shop owner said, I think you'd enjoy this because I've had conversations, and we've had conversations about westerns and just different genres of not just comics but movies. And we were talking about a theater that locally that shows older movies. And so just having those conversations, he was like, you really should check this out. I think you'd enjoy it, and I did. And that's the beauty of a local comic shop. So you kind of learn about those new series. And I think this one is an ongoing series that I'll pick these up. Let's see. Let's put this is. I'm not going to tape these up yet because I have to read them, but it's issues 2 and 3. So this is issue 2, and then like I said, issue 3 just came out this week. So yeah, looking forward to those for sure. I don't know where it's going to go, but the promise of the first issue is a promise that I'm cool with. All right, so get those out of the way, and the last thing I already talked about it was so the latest issue of Transformers came out today, and man, I know I've talked about the Energon universe and how I'm kind of going heavy on buying the art, but man, this comic, it's just so freaking good, man. Like I love the series. Jorge Corona's art is awesome, and it starts out with a page that it's just great. It's Beachcomber surfing, and like I talked about it last issue when I bought the issue 10 that I think Beachcomber has quickly become one of my favorite Transformers. I went a little crazy, I bought some Beachcomber toys because I remember watching the cartoon and seeing the episode the Golden Lagoon where I think I talked about this before, but I remember that episode, but then I never really didn't really see much of Beachcomber after that. Didn't really give him much more thought. I just thought, oh, that's a fun kind of like a pacifist kind of transformer. That's the end of that episode. He finds this paradise area. It's a cartoon, not talking about the comic. In the Golden Lagoon episode, he finds this paradise, and there's this I forget what it's called. Electrum. That's what it's called, and it's this golden coating that makes the Transformers invulnerable, and so the Decepticons and Autobots end up fighting over this stuff, and there's all this all these animals that are around, and they destroy the area, and then the Autobots win. The Decepticons retreat at the end of the episode, and then there's this heart-wrenching moment where it pans over to all this destruction of the lagoon, and it's Beachcomber just sitting there. He goes, "We won." Just oh my god, this is terrible. So they won the fight, but they just destroyed this area. So I always thought that was an intriguing kind of episode. But so Beachcomber is now in the series, the Transformers series, and it immediately kind of reminded me why I thought that he was a really interesting character, and yeah, so. There's so much that goes on in this issue again. So there's a confrontation between Alita 1 and RC, who kind of argue about RC has been more militant, or not RC, Alita 1 was more militant, and she resents some of the Autobots for leaving Cybertron years ago. And RC has a history with Ultra Magnus, and Alita 1 had just spent so much time trying to rescue Ultra Magnus, so she, like, there's just this conflict of, like, you could have been there, you could have been helping. So there's conflict between the Autobots. Alita 1 is kind of questioning Optimus Prime, his leadership qualities, and it's just like the dynamics between just the Autobots are great, and then there's the dynamics between the Decepticons. They're great. Shockwave is just kind of like this terrible individual, and kind of like berates the Decepticons, like Soundwave. Soundwave just wants to fix his pet Ravage. He just wants to, like, fix him, and Shockwave is like, we're not worrying about those things that don't matter. And so there's, like, confrontation that's coming between the two of them. This is definitely building to a big conflict in the issue 12, which is the next issue, which is the kind of the end of the second story arc. But yeah, I've been having so much fun with this, and so much so that I did something that I usually never do. I bought an expensive variant cover this week, and it's a really cool one. Really, really cool. It's James Herron did a variant cover for issue 11. It's like a play on his Ultra Mega series, but it's Ultra Magnus. And what this was it was a thank you comic for each comic shop. They got one of these in, and a friend of mine sent me this image like leading up to this week, and I was like, what is that? Like, that is amazing. I love Ultra Magnus. From back in the movie, like, remember when the 86 movie came out, and Optimus Prime dies, and you think, okay, this other guy, this Ultra Magnus, is going to be the new leader of the Autobots. And I was like, that's pretty cool. Like, I like him. And then they, again, it was like an emotional roller coaster, that movie. They, ups and downs, it ends up being Hot Rod as the leader. And I was like, no, I don't want that guy. I'm not like a Hot Rod hater, but, like, Ultra Magnus, even as a kid, I was like, I was supposed to like Hot Rod because I was, like, speaking to the youth, the youthful viewer. But I was like, no, that dude, Ultra Magnus, that's the guy that should be the leader. Anyway, so ever since then, I've always had a soft spot for Ultra Magnus. Been one of my, I just love the look of him. But yeah, so I saw this variant cover, and yeah, I was in there today, and I talked to my shop owner, and I said, hey, did you get one? He said, yeah. He hadn't really priced it yet, so we figured out a fair price, based on what, it's cheaper than what is going on eBay, and even eBay prices have come down. They started at, like, over $100, and I was like, that's nuts. But they've come down since then to around 75, and I was like, well, that's not great, but I got it for less than that. I paid $50 for this issue, and I thought that was fair. He didn't have to list it on eBay, or because, like, I think it's a good thing that publishers do things like this, because it does allow some extra income to come into a comic shop. I just as a thank you for selling their comics, and it's like it's a great cover too. I mean, it's like a really amazing cover. So it I like that they do that to generate interest and buzz, and get a little more income to a comic shop. So if I was gonna be tempted to get one of these anyway. So I'm happy that I can actually put that money directly into my local comic shop. So yeah, this is, and like I said, I don't do this a lot. Like, I'm not, like, I don't really fall for, like, the incentive variants, or I'm not a huge variant cover, like, comic collector. Like, I just want to kind of read the stories. But this one just spoke to me. So yeah. So anyway, that's all that I had for this week. Actually, this week and last week. I'm not even going to talk about the budget. I was under budget for what I would have paid last week, but I spent way more today. So I told you I would not be able to do the $20 thing for too long. So anyway, thank you very much for watching this one. I will have soon, maybe later, maybe like later this week or early next week, I'll have a more art to unbox, some fun stuff for sure. So yeah, thank you for watching this one, and I will see you soon.